Today we are going to just talk about problem solving abilities and logic building. And since Python is the language which you all have been aware of, and you all have been going through Python modules, we'll try to stick to Python for any kind of, if you try to build a logic or problem solving. Now, before I begin, I just want to present one question to you all. All right. You don't have to solve it as such, or you don't have to implement it on the Jupyter notebook or anything. All you need to do is just speak your thoughts out. By what I mean is, by speaking your thoughts out is, when I give you the question, just try to figure out how would you approach that question. Okay. Or how would you try to solve or build a logic of that particular question if you are required to write a code for that. All right. Now, depending upon that, we'll discuss what is the right way to approach a problem and what is something that you should try to avoid. Okay. So I see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in the call. I would like all 6 of you, if you can interact, at least speak your thoughts out when I talk about the problem which I am going to. Okay. I'm not sure if you have already, you might have already seen this problem or not, but if you have already seen this problem or came across this problem in the past, just let me know. I'll change the problem. All right. So the problem is, you have been given a pen and a paper, and it's a physical paper and a physical pen. And I asked you to write a number on that particular paper. Okay. That number could be anything from 0 to infinity. Okay. For sake of simplicity, just assume it could be anything from 0 to, let's say, 1000. Any number between 0 to 1000 or 0 to 10,000, anything of that sort. Right now, once you have written that number on the paper, I asked you to rotate that paper by 180 degrees. Okay. Keep in mind, it's not flip of paper or it's not just reversing of digit. It's actually physical rotation of the paper by 180 degrees. Now you need to tell me that. Okay, Ganesh, can you please mute? Yeah, okay. Now you need to tell me that once I have rotated the paper, 2 conditions should satisfy. The first, the number should not change, or in fact, the first condition is the number should be readable. For example, I wrote 1 on the paper and I rotated by 180 degrees. It will still remain 1, right? So number did not change. That's a condition number 1 getting satisfied. And the second condition that needs to be satisfied is the number should not change. For example, I wrote 1, 0 as 10. And I rotated the paper. I can still read the number. I can still read 0 and I can still read 1. But the number is now changed. Right? 10 became 0, 1. Right? So 2 conditions need to be satisfied. The first is the number should not change. And the second is the number should be readable. Readable is the first condition and number should not change is the second condition. 2, if you rotate it, it becomes unreadable. So that doesn't satisfy the condition, right? Similarly, 7, if you write and you rotate the paper, 7 becomes unreadable. So it doesn't satisfy the condition. Now you need to figure out what logic will you build if I tell you that you have to write a code for it. Write a code which can accept an integer as an input. Okay. And then you do some logic in a way, and that code should be able to return me Boolean values, either negative or either true or false. Okay. True, it should return true in the cases where both conditions satisfies. Both condition as in, first, the number is still readable after rotation, and second, the number did not change. Right? That's a time where you need to return true. Or else, if first condition satisfies, second fails, you return false. If both the condition doesn't get satisfied, you return false. Is the question clear to you all at least or not? Can you just let me know on the chat? Is the question clear to everyone? Come on, guys. I mean, if it is not clear, you can just let me know.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's clear. Cool. Anyone for whom the question is not clear, I'll quickly recap the question again in 10 seconds only. So you have been given a pen and a paper. I asked you to write any number on that paper, be it from 0 to all the way up to 1 lakh or 10 lakh. Okay. You wrote something on the paper and I rotated that paper by 180 degrees. Okay. And after that, I want you to check if two conditions satisfies. First, is the number readable? 1 rotated by 180 degrees will still remain 1. You can still read it. 2, if you write and then rotate by 180 degrees, it won't be readable. So that 1 satisfies and 2 doesn't satisfy. So there are cases where certain number satisfies, certain number doesn't satisfy. That's the first condition. Second condition is the number should not change. If I write 1 and I rotate, suppose if I write 0, 1 and I rotate, it becomes 10. So number is still readable, but the number got changed, right? So the cases where both the condition is satisfying, you need to return me true, else false. So that's the recap. Just think about it and give me the logic that you can come up with. I'll give you like 5 minutes to everyone. Just think about how will you approach this problem. And anyone who has not got the question yet, please let me know. I'll repeat that.
Sir, can you repeat once again?
Okay, Ganesh, what did you not understand?
Question, sir.
Which part of the question? What did you not understand?
Full question, sir. I have not clearly.
Okay, so the question is, you have been given a pen and a paper, and I asked you to write a number on it. That number could be anything from 0 to all the way up to infinity. You wrote a number, and then I asked you to flip that paper by 180 degrees.
Okay.
Actual rotation of the number. And then I want you to verify if two conditions satisfies or not. One, is the number still readable? Second, did the number change? If the number is still readable and the number did not change, you need to return true, else false. That's the question.
Okay.
Okay. Feel free to speak up if any of you has any clue around how will you approach it, and we can discuss that further.
Hello?
Yeah.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, you are.
Hello?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, sir. So the number must be the number which we are given or written by us must have digits 1, 8, and 0.
Okay.
And the numbers should be palindrome.
Okay. So go ahead.
This condition should be enough, I guess, to so rotate करें तो if we rotate the number, then there shouldn't be any problem in that.
Correct. So you are almost there, Abhinandan. Almost 80% of the test cases will get satisfied with your logic. But I'll just give you one test case which will fail according to your logic, okay? Which is number 69. What happens when you rotate number 69 by 180 degrees? It still remains 69, right?
Yeah.
So you need to take into account that particular case as well. Just think about it more.
So we will teach something. We will teach 6 and 9 at the same number. Like if we get a 6 and 9 in a palindromic situation, so we will say that case is okay, like 6, 1, 9.
Comparing 6 with 9 and 9 with 6, right?
Yeah, so that is okay.
Yep.
Otherwise, if it is like 8 and 6, that is not okay.
Right. Cool.
Yeah,
so I think you were able to solve that particular, Abhinandan. So that's great. Is your Jupyter notebook up and running? Would you like to just code it till the time I hear the logic from rest of the people as well?
I can code in C++.
Acha. Okay, that's also fine. No problem. I would prefer if you do it in Python, Abhinandan, because Python is something that is going on right now.
Okay, I will try in Python.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyone else who wants to just talk about the approach or whatever they have in mind? I was thinking that I would hear back from multiple people, but not sure if you are not able to solve the question or you're not even trying. I don't know about that, but any thoughts? I'll just give 10-20 seconds more to hear from any one of you if you have any thoughts around the problem, the solution approach or anything. Okay, so I'll just share a solution with everyone. Now the approach that you need to figure out is, first of all, okay, so there is I think someone has posted, Farhan has posted, I agree with Abhinandan's logic, but when we come to solving the problem in case of 6 and 9, we have to take a lot of things like their position, which digits in their inter number. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean about that, Farhan, but I'll just explain the solution and you might get clarity on that part. So the first thing that we need to figure out is which are the numbers when rotated remains the same, right? And which are 0, 1, and 8. When you rotate it, it remains the same, correct? So that's the first check we need to apply, that the number should only contain 0, 1, and 8. And except that, if there is any number, you can just return false from that check itself. But there is a catch, and the catch is 6 and 9. These are special numbers. When you rotate 6, it becomes 9, and when you rotate 9, it becomes 6. So you need to take into account those two numbers as well. So the first check will get manipulated to the number should contain 0, 1, 6, 8, and 9 only. Except that if there is any other number, you can just return false from there. That's the first condition. Second condition is you need to check if the number is palindrome. Right? First, from the first condition, you'll be able to satisfy the condition number 1, which is the number would be readable. Right? Even if if that's 6 and you rotate it, it will become 9, but the number will be readable. You can read it. Right? So that's the first condition that will be satisfied using that particular logic of the number should contain only the 5 given numbers 0, 1, 6, 8, 9. The second logic should be to check if the number is palindrome. And there has to be a certain modified logic to check the palindrome. First of all, what is palindrome? The number which is equal even if you reverse it. Like 88 is a palindrome, 101 is a palindrome, 252 is a palindrome. Even if you reverse it, the number remains same, right? So that's palindrome. How do you check a palindrome? You compare first element with the last element, second element with the second last element, and so on, right? That's the exact check you need to make it over here as well, but with a small change where you'll be comparing 0 with 0, 1 with 1, 8 with 8, but equate 6 with 9 and 9 with 6, because the number has actually changed when you rotated it. And that's how you'll be able to solve that particular problem. And this is supposed to be the logic. Okay. So Abhinandan, if you have the code written, you would like to just ping in the chat over here. Whatever you have written, that's okay. Even if it is not working as such.
Just 1 minute. I will. Just 1 minute, and I have coded in C++. So
okay. All right. Okay. So
just give me 1 minute.
So the intent behind this question, everyone, was to help you understand that it's not necessary that the questions will come from a particular topic, right? Because if I ask you which topic this question was from, it wasn't from any topic as such. It was pure logic building. You need to come up with some logic. There was no data structures used in this particular question. There was no algorithm used in this particular question as such. All you had to do is understand the question and come up with a free mind to figure out what's the best way to solve it, right? And that's exactly kind of questions you will be seeing in the interviews once you go for campus placement or company interviews. Okay, so it's important to have the clarity of data structures and algorithms and sorting methods, whatever is being taught from the modules as well. But one thing you need to keep in mind is not limit yourself to what is being taught in the course, right? You need to try to go for, puzzle solving exercise, some question exercise that will help you to understand these logic building, and it will help you to enhance your problem solving skills. Okay, so I think, yeah, I can see that. So Abhinandan has posted the code, which is in C++. So if you see this code, it is correct. If num is 9.
First, I have checked the number should contain only 1, 0, 8, 9, and 6.
What is the data type of num?
Array. I have not made the whole function. Sorry for that. Number shift नहीं कर रहा. Yeah, I am assuming that number is either is an array.
Okay. So nums is an array, and with that or a string maybe.
Or a string.
That you have equated it, right? If the num. Okay. And
once I've checked the number is 1, 0, 9, 8, and 6. After that, I'm checking the palindrome situation.
Yeah. This looks correct to me. So yeah, this is the proper code. Cool. So that was great, Abhinandan. Good job on that part. So yes, that was the intent of this particular session, where I wanted to talk about things which goes around problem solving and logic building abilities. Okay. So there are free resources, certain free places I would suggest where you can practice such questions, and you should be practicing such questions. Along with these kind of questions, there is another type of question that you should be practicing, which is around figuring out time and space complexity. Okay, I'm not sure how many of you have touched upon that particular topic yet, but if I just talk about on a brief, what is time and space complexity? Time complexity is basically, in a layman's term, how much time your code took to solve a particular problem. Okay, and hence it comes, the concept of effective solution comes into picture. There are certain solutions, or there are certain problems that takes a little more time to get solved, or a little more time to present the solution, but there are certain questions which are quicker than the other solutions. Okay, how do you measure that? You measure that using something called time complexity. A solution which takes more time has a bigger time complexity, and solutions with less time complexity are always preferred, and we call them as optimized solutions. Okay, so that's the first thing. And the second parameter to judge a solution is space complexity. How much space your program took to solve a particular problem. Right, it depends upon how much variables you used, what kind of data structures you used, everything comes into picture. But these are the two parameters that you need to keep in your mind while judging your effectiveness, or how optimized your particular solution is. Okay, now if I ask you, there is a code in the chat, what is the time complexity or a space complexity of this particular solution? Okay, now there are multiple ways to understand space and time complexity, which will come in subsequent topics. But just to give you a very high level brief, space complexity is something that you can determine by seeing what is the number of variables I'm using, or is that variable dependent upon the input size. So in this case, if I tell you, Abhinandan has used a couple of variables, which is I is a variable which has been used inside the for loop. And then again, the same variable has been used with a different value in the second while function in the below. So I and j are the two variables being used over here, right? Now, if I tell you the number of variables, which is two new variables have been used in this particular code, are they dependent on the input size? And by input size, I mean the size of the integer I'm putting. Even if I put as an input as 88, same I and j will be used. Or even if I put something like 10,000 as a number, only two variables will be used. Okay, so these variables, this solution has variables which are not dependent on the input size. And hence we call it a constant space complexity, which is the best case scenario where you're not using the space depending upon how input you're getting. Same way, there are methods to calculate time complexity as well. So that's the way to judge your solution. Okay. Now, these are the two things. And for both the two things, I will just give you some resources, which is free resources. You should go and understand these parts as well. So the very first thing I would suggest is Interview Bit, where you would find such questions. And the first topic itself is about, time and space complexity, where you'll be asked to determine time and space complexity of a particular problem. And you'll be also explained about how to understand a time and space complexity of a problem. And then there'll be a couple of questions. So that's the first resource I would suggest you all to go through and understand about it, right? Second resource I would suggest you is, and I think you are already aware of, is LeetCode. Okay, over there, I want you all to focus on easy level problems. Okay, you don't have to talk about any medium level or any hard level problems. Just focus on easy level problems and try to solve them in Python. Okay, because Python is going on right now, it doesn't make sense to solve in a different language, even though Python is being taught. Obviously, other language will come once you have completed Python, but try to pick easy level problems. You can also sort it as dependent upon the topics which you have already read. So you can solve questions only from those topics, easy level problems, which the topics have been cleared already. Okay, so these two resources I want you all to focus into. First one is for time and space complexity, and second is for practicing problems for the topics which you have already completed in the course and have a fair understanding. Pick only easy level problems. Okay, next session, whenever we have, obviously next Saturday we have, I want you all to give me a number of lead code problems you solved, and what was the what was the success ratio, how many you were able to solve just by looking at the question and solving them, or how many questions where you had to debug and then figure out some hints and then was able to solve. Okay, obviously that is something you can ping me personally in the chat if you don't want to share it openly in the next session, so don't worry about that part. But the intent is you should try to solve at least 3 questions every day, starting tomorrow till Friday, or till the time we meet again. Okay, any questions, any doubts anybody has around any of the aspect that we talked about today? I don't know, somehow I feel today the class is actually very silent. I have heard only 1 or 2 persons speaking. I don't know what the reason is. Maybe you're tired, maybe you are in a holy mood already. I don't know about it, but I hope the action items are clear and you would follow the same. So if any questions, I will wait for 10 more seconds to hear out anything from anyone. Okay, so I think nobody has any question, which is strange, but okay. So I'll wait for next session where I'll be coming up with certain different topics. And also the first agenda of the next session would be to understand how the week went for you all. Were you able to follow 3 questions per day? And also, did you try to solve questions from LeetCode and Python, and what was the success ratio? Okay, please do that. If you have a habit of forgetting things, do write it on whatever notepad or the laptop screen, whatever you have, so that you can stick to it. Okay, and next session we'll discuss more on this particular part about what could be the next step to understand things even better. All right.